Welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair. My name is Jasmine. I'm going to serve as your facilitator for our session today. Before we get started, I have a few housekeeping announcements. The first, you can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any point throughout our session today. Second, your camera and microphone are off, so we cannot see nor hear you. Third, this is just one of many different sessions that we're offering, so feel free to visit our registration site to sign up for additional sessions. And finally, this presentation is being recorded. You'll have access to that recording within about a week or so. With that said, I want to go ahead and introduce our first presenter from Tufts University.
Hey everyone, I hope you're having a lovely evening. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Alrighty, there we go. So hi everyone, my name is Gracie Marshall. I'm an Associate Director of Admissions at Tufts University. I'm also an alum and also came from the Bay Area, so did the journey that you might be interested in doing. And I'm going to talk to you guys for the next 6 minutes about Tufts. Tufts is a mid-sized research university about 5 miles from downtown Boston. As you can see from this aerial picture, we have about 6,000 undergraduates who reside here on our undergraduate campus. We do, however, have 5 different campuses, 4 of which are located in Massachusetts. So you can see the top left is a picture of our undergrad campus. On the top right is our School of the Museum of Fine Arts, which is located in the Fenway district of downtown Boston. We also have our health sciences campuses in the lower left, which is home to the Tufts Medical School, the Tufts Dental School in downtown Boston. And then we also have the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine, which the giveaway are these cows grazing in the field in Grafton, Mass, which is about 30 miles west of Medford. We also have a campus in Telloir, France, which is in the French Alps, which students take advantage of during the summer. So when you apply to Tufts, you do not declare a major. You have some time to figure that out, but what you will need to decide upon applying is which of our 3 undergraduate schools you are applying to. The School of Arts and Sciences, the School of Engineering, or the School of the Museum of Fine Arts, the SMFA at Tufts. Our School of Arts and Sciences is the biggest of the 3 schools, with about 75% of our student population residing within it. And there's about 150 majors or minors that you can choose from. As I mentioned, all of our students enter Tufts undeclared or undecided, and you then in Arts and Sciences have 2 full years to declare your major. We'll ask and have you guys fulfill what are called distribution and foreign language and culture requirements as a way to dabble in our wonderful curriculum and take courses across many different disciplines. Because of this, we have lots of students who choose to study more than one thing. 60% of our students will either be double majoring, majoring and minoring. I had a roommate of mine who was a triple major in biology, biotech, and Chinese, excuse me. We have students who will double major in things like drama and computer science. We have enough of them that they call themselves the Dromp Sci kids. We consider that a very Tuftsy thing to do. So sort of wide exploration and finding the intersection between 2 disparate subjects is something that is highly encouraged and taken advantage of. We also have our School of Engineering, which houses about 15% of the student body. The engineering school is about 900 students total, which is quite small for an engineering school, which we see as a wonderful benefit, as a lot of the work that is done is very collaborative and project-based, starting from your first year on campus. So all of our first-year engineers, you declare your major at the end of the first year. So in order to get a taste of the curriculum, students will take an introductory engineering course where you can take a wide variety of classes, things like coffee making. It was formerly a beer making class, but that's not very kind to the 18-year-olds who cannot enjoy the fruits of their labor. So it's now a coffee making class. There's an intro class called How to Make Stuff. That is the formal title of a college course that you can take the final project is to make a mini golf course. Sounds pretty cool to me. And then your engineering experience also culminates with a senior design project. So also a project-based experience there. A pillar and trademark of the Tufts engineering experience is that we are really looking to create socially engaged engineers. We also hope that our engineers are taking a very multidisciplinary approach to problem solving, and therefore they will be required to take some classes in the School of Arts and Sciences. So HAS requirement stands for Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. And then the last of our three schools, the SMFA, which again stands for the School of the Museum of Fine Arts at Tufts, gives students the option to dive into the arts in varying different capacities. So the 2 degree programs we offer are a BFA, so a Bachelor's of Fine Arts for students who want to be in the studio for the vast majority of their time, but we also offer something called a combined degree, where in 5 years you will come away with 2 different bachelor's degrees, a Bachelor's of Fine Arts, and then you're also majoring in whatever you would like within the School of Arts and Sciences. The wonderful part about the SMFA is that it is the school associated with the Museum of Fine Arts, as the name suggests. The MFA is the biggest art museum in Boston and the 2nd largest art collection in all of North America. So that was a bit of information about our 3 schools. Now I'll talk a bit about what our students do outside of the classroom, which this first one is sort of inside of the classroom. A great benefit of being one of the smallest Tier 1 research universities is that students have the opportunity to dive into research as an undergraduate. 60% of our student population will do research, and you can start as early as your freshman year. We also encourage our students to leave our Medford community and really engage themselves in other communities abroad, for example, which can happen at varying different parts of your Tufts career. Tufts offers its own gap year program, which is called Tufts 1+4 for students who qualify for any amount of need-based financial aid. It's completely free. We also offer a hybrid program called Civic Semester, where for your first semester at Tufts, you can spend that abroad. This upcoming year, it will be in Arizona and New Mexico due to COVID. And generally speaking, 45% of our students study abroad. Tufts is also a place where there are many internship opportunities. About 94% of students will be fully employed or in grad school 6 months after graduation, a nice benefit of being so close to Boston. Tufts is a place where the residential experience is a big part of your 4 years at Tufts. You must live on campus for the first 2 years, and even those students who are off campus are campus adjacent. Everything is in a 10 to 15-minute walk. A place where there are 300 student groups on campus, whether that is our D3 athletics, visiting our cabin up in New Hampshire, our lodge, or community service. And then this last slide, financial aid wise, Tufts is a place that meets 100% of demonstrated need for all students, regardless of citizenship status. All of our aid is completely need-based as opposed to merit-based aid. And thank you very much. I'll stop sharing now and pass it on to the next presenter.
Hi, folks. My name is Tyler Lucier, and I serve as one of our Associate Deans of Admission here at Bates College in Lewiston, Maine. So let me pull up my presentation here. All right. And we can go ahead and get started. So you should be able to see here right out of the gate a picture of Gomes Chapel on our main quad over at Bates College. As I mentioned, Bates is a small liberal arts institution located in Lewiston, Maine. And so one thing that's really important about us at Bates is how we were founded. Bates College has been around since 1855, and since the very beginning, Bates has welcomed women and students of color, being one of the first coeducational institutions in the Northeast. So I think what you find is an incredibly inclusive and collaborative community of about 2,000 total students on a campus that is really entirely residential. Housing is guaranteed all 4 years. So you get that great, small, close-knit community in Lewiston, Maine, which is just a little over 2.5 hours north of Boston. As we keep going along, I think one thing that's really important here is to hopefully try to help you all differentiate what makes Bates unique versus maybe other small liberal arts colleges. First and foremost, where we're located. Bates is located, as I mentioned, in Lewiston, Maine, which is the 2nd largest city in the state of Maine. But I'll say take that with a grain of salt. It is still Maine. That's about 60 to 65,000 residents between Lewiston and Auburn. We're just a little over 35 minutes north of Portland, which is the largest city in the state of Maine. And one thing that's really important to us at the college is this idea of community engaged learning and community partnerships. Bates as an institution has been recognized as a top 20 program across the nation for community engaged learning. So taking what you do in the classroom and really finding the real world application, right? The economics students helping local businesses. It could be a political science student serving on a campaign, or maybe a pre-med student partnering with one of our local 2 hospitals located right in downtown Lewiston within walking distance of campus. You can see our students put over 80,000 hours of community engaged work into the broader community annually. But also, to take it a step further, every club and organization has to have a community liaison. Every athletic team has a community engaged liaison. And also there's a lot of incredible community engaged research opportunities. So I think it's really important that if you are excited about Bates, that commitment to community and that type of work is going to be really important to your student experience. Outside of our main campus in Lewiston, Maine, we do own about 500 acres of land on the coast of Maine. It's our Bates Morse Mountain Conservation Area. So if you're looking to do any sort of environmental studies research, or just want to explore the coastline and the beach, you'll see here from the next slide, you got a beautiful piece of Maine to really explore. And if you're a little bit more adventurous, you can head up to Baxter State Park and go ahead and hike Mount Katahdin, which is the largest peak in the state of Maine. Some basics about the academics here at Bates to cover. You'll notice 37 majors, 26 minors, so there's a lot to unpack there. Some of the most popular programs at the moment include economics, biology, political science, and psychology. As mentioned before, you do not actually have to declare your major when you come to Bates. That's something that you can really get a chance to explore and not decide until second term of your sophomore year. And that 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio is really important as you focus in that small classroom setting where you really will know your faculty on a first name basis and build those incredible partnerships and relationships. Another important piece that's unique to the Bates experience is what we refer to as our short-term period. This is a 3-week period at the end of your academic year. So our calendar is a little unique that it's a 4-4-1, 4 classes in the fall, 4 classes in the winter, and then 1 class in the month of May, where you get a chance to maybe take some unique course offerings, do some undergraduate research, and really get a chance to kind of just focus in one area and also enjoy Maine as it's coming out of the winter time. And so hopefully a beautiful time of year to explore the state of Maine. Undergraduate research is alive and well at a small liberal arts college. So you have that opportunity, whether it's serving on an undergraduate research team as early as your first year, to every senior who has to complete a senior thesis project that they will author. And so this is something that you'll conduct original research, you'll conduct interviews, and really have the opportunity to publish a wonderful piece at the end of your academic career at Bates. And so this actually culminates in our Mount David Summit, which is a great opportunity to celebrate our students' work. Another piece that I think is unique to the Bates experience is what we call the Center for Purposeful Work. This is really Bates's take on career readiness. This program has been around for about 5 or 6 years, and we've seen incredible success. Over the last year, 99% of our students have been settled within 6 months of graduating, and a lot of the new pieces to the experience have helped our students really be set up for success. Funding for unpaid internships, opportunities for purposeful work and fusion courses where we invite experts from their field to teach you the ins and outs of their industry, enhanced job shadowing network, a lot of different pieces, but that program philosophically really aims to align who you are as a person with an ultimate career opportunity to really help make sure that students are ending up in the field that they are passionate about and excited to explore. These last slides always recall certain things like the Bates College Dance Festival every summer, which is an incredible dance festival that's known across the country and pulls folks in from all over the nation. Opportunity if you love the outdoors. We're just a few minutes from Lost Valley Ski Resort. So if you want to hit the slopes, it's a great opportunity, actually free for Bates students to go to. If you want to be a member of one of our 30+ varsity sports, we compete at the Division III level, members of the NESCAT conference, so some of our peers might be here. If you're interested in sustainability, Bates has actually reached carbon neutrality, and there's a lot of exciting work happening annually around the environmental studies program, or maybe you just enjoy getting a bite to eat on the quad. Certainly a unique opportunity there. And then the last piece I'll mention a few pieces about the admission process. Bates has been test optional since 1984. We do practice a holistic review, and we do meet 100% of demonstrated need for all 4 years for students that are applying for financial aid. And we award about $34 million annually. So those are some fast facts about the college. And if you're looking to learn some more information, we'll answer questions at the end, and you certainly see my contact information there. So I will wrap up my slideshow here, and I will stop sharing my screen.
Good evening. My name is Dorian Roberts, Associate Director of Admissions at St. Mary's College of California. We are actually located in Moraga, which is about 15 minutes east of Oakland and 30 minutes east of San Francisco. Our undergraduate population is 2,700. Overall student body is 3,500. Academically, we are a liberal arts institution. We're also Catholic, and we're also Lasallian, and we are NCAA Division I. As you can see, we're top 6 regional universities in the West as well. Education rooted in mission and values: respect for all persons, faith in the presence of God, concern for the poor and social justice, quality education, and inclusive community. These are our core Lasallian principles that are the life and the heart of St. Mary's College of California. We are diverse, so 57% of our students identify as multicultural or Black, Indigenous, or people of color. We have 31% are first in their family to attend college, and 54% of our students identify as non-Catholic. What is a liberal arts education? It is the study of the sciences such as biology, chemistry, and physics, and social sciences, including economics, politics, and psychology. You develop strong critical thinking, problem solving, and communication skills across multiple academic disciplines. There is a strong focus on student participation within all academic settings. We encourage a high level of student-teacher interaction, mentorship, and collaboration. The average class size at St. Mary's is 19. Our student-professor ratio is 10-1. As you see from the slide deck, it looks like there are about 7 students in the class. So you could be in a class of this size as well. Small classrooms give you an opportunity to build camaraderie and rapport with your peers, but most importantly, it gives you, excuse me, the opportunity to build camaraderie, rapport, and a relationship with your professors. When I say professors, I mean you're being taught by highly qualified individuals, someone who has a doctorate or a PhD. We do not use TAs or someone who has a master's degree only to teach. So you're being taught by highly qualified individuals from the time that you're a first year until you graduate from St. Mary's. Find your voice. Collegiate Seminar is the heart of St. Mary's core curriculum and provides students with a solid foundation in the liberal arts. The program comprises 4 discussion-based courses that examine the great books of literature, philosophy, history and political theory, art and science. Courses discuss great thinkers from Socrates and Aristotle to Shakespeare and Martin Luther King. We're on a 4-1-4 format, meaning you take 4 classes in the spring, 4 classes in the fall, and then in January you take a unique course. So every January, students take 1 course either on campus, in the community, or abroad. You explore a single topic outside your major at great depth. A couple of classes that are offered are media, representation, and capoeira, the science of cooking. We also offer a class called Star Wars and Theology, the rise of nerd culture, and the Netflix effect. And again, you can study abroad during the month of January as well. As you see, some students go to Ireland, but they've also been to London, Rome, they've been to Tokyo, they've been to Johannesburg, they've been to Durban. So there's a wealth of opportunity for students who want to study abroad during the month of January as well. We have 40+ academic majors and minors. So you as a student, you can major, minor, you can double major, you can double minor. And if you need assistance, they'll be provided to you as well. So it's a path all your own, but never alone. So all first-year students and transfer students are part of our first-year cohort. You have a faculty member who's going to be your guide to help you make that transition from high school to college or from a community college into a 4-year institution. You'll also have a faculty advisor. They'll help you with guidance within your major, exploring internship opportunities, and preparation for post-grad work. You'll also be provided with a success coach. So your success coach is going to be pivotal to help you make that transition and to help you navigate academics at St. Mary's as well. We have the High Potential Program, which is available to first generation, non-traditional, and low income students as well. Community at our core. So there's guaranteed on-campus housing for 2 years, more than 60 student-run clubs and organizations, 100+ student jobs available, and more than 70,000 hours of community service annually at St. Mary's. There's a community engagement component that's embedded in all the programs, which allows you as a student to use your knowledge, skills, and abilities to get back to a community in need. And 100% of first-year students live on campus. So we have 23 club and intramural sports for those who are interested in playing other than the Division I, and you can also be a spectator as well. We have 16 Division I NCAA athletic teams, and education worth the investment. So this is what the tuition looks like. The average financial aid is around $38,000. We have merit-based scholarships for first-year students based on the GPA and holistic review process. And we are test optional. So the SAT nor the SAT are required for admissions at St. Mary's. And we also have transfer scholarships, and anyone who's attending a LaSallian school or De La Salle Christian Brothers School, you are eligible for a scholarship as well. Thank you, and that concludes my presentation.
Thanks, Dorian. Okay, I am Glenn. I'm going to share my screen. Thanks to everyone here to listen to all these great colleges. I wish we could go to more than one. Well, I'm Glenn. I'm here to tell you a little bit about Mid. I'm going to share a few quick facts to get us started. So Middlebury is a residential liberal arts college. We have about 2,500 students, and we're fully undergraduate. So students have close connections with their faculty, and all the resources on campus are for the undergraduates, for you. Students come from all 50 states and over 70 countries. Exploration and discovery are a huge part of learning at Middlebury. So you can choose from 850 classes, 49 majors and programs, and then more than half of them are interdisciplinary. In addition to this Vermont campus, which is entirely undergraduate, like I said, we also have a large network of schools abroad, summer language schools, and the Monterey Institute of International Studies in California. Now I'd like to dive into some of the details about what makes Middlebury's experience so special. So first, our location is in Vermont's Champlain Valley. So it offers this deeply rooted experience with a sense of place and community. A strong connection to our local environment is central to our identity, and it really allows students to take advantage of recreational, academic, and community engagement throughout the town of Middlebury and Vermont at large. So one of the most common questions we hear, or at least I hear, is what makes Middlebury different? I'm assuming we all hear that question a lot. To me, Mid holds these two identities, and they might seem juxtaposed at first, but taken together, I think is what makes Middlebury Middlebury. So first, we're a small college in a small state with a strong sense of community and this connection to place. But then at the same time, we're globally connected. And that emphasis on cross-cultural understanding with boundaries that exist far beyond our Vermont campus, as you can see on this map, this is demonstrated in several ways. Through our international curriculum, an internationally diverse student body, extensive international programs, 60% of juniors study abroad for at least one semester. Often it's in language immersion. So all these green flags on this map represent Middlebury schools abroad. We have 37 different schools in 17 different countries. Academic and financial aid support follows you to any of these locations. Another unique feature of Mid is the academic experience around environmental studies. We have the oldest of its kind in the country, and it's one of the most popular majors, and it's obviously inherently multidisciplinary. Environmentalism is also a pillar of Middlebury's identity. Like Bates, we became carbon neutral in 2016, but we also then recently embarked on a new ambitious new sustainability goal. Our Energy 2028 plan sets a goal of having 100% renewable energy running our campus, now just 7 years from now. Both of these initiatives were student driven and highlight the emphasis that MID has on the student voice and that shaping our priorities. Another highlight of the Middlebury student experience is our J-term. We have a 4-1-4 academic calendar. So this 4-week condensed academic semester is a time in which students can have an in-depth class, an internship, an independent study. And then once J-term wraps up, we welcome our first year Feb students to campus. So Middlebury has one of the oldest, largest, and most well-established mid-year enrollment programs in the country. Our Febs often spend their gap semester traveling or pursuing an interest, holding a job, visiting family, doing a service project. Sky's the limit. And then after 4 years at MID, Febs take part in a really unique tradition at Middlebury called the graduation ski down at our college-owned Middlebury Snow Bowl. When Febs graduate, they proudly wear the .5 at the end of their graduation year, and they join a really long tradition of adventurous students who aren't afraid to do something a little bit different. So whether mid grads graduate in May or in February, they go on to do a lot of different things with their education. There's so much support from our Center for Careers and Internships in terms of job searching, soul searching. We all need that right now. Finding funding, internships, or graduate school applications. So to wrap this up, I want to give you a little bit of information about applying. So obviously you can apply to MID on the Common App or Coalition app. We have no supplemental essays required. We are test optional. Right now we're in a 3-year pilot of doing that, but I'm assuming that we're going to continue being test optional after that. And we're also need blind in our admissions process for US citizens, permanent residents, undocumented students, and DACA. So we meet full 100% demonstrated need for all admitted students for all 4 years. Thanks for exploring MID with me. And if you have any questions, please send me an email and I'll hand it off.
All right. So many places we can attend, right? I'm going to go back to college. So my name is Ben, and I am one of the assistant directors of admission at Fairfield U, which is in Fairfield, Connecticut, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I'm actually also an alum, and so I was a communication and music double major with a women, gender, and sexuality studies minor. I think it's kind of a hallmark of the Fairfield education as a liberal arts institution. I had a very interdisciplinary experience at Fairfield. But welcome virtually to Fairfield. We are a Catholic and Jesuit institution, and as I mentioned, a liberal arts school as well. But we're located in Fairfield, Connecticut, which is in kind of southwestern, Connecticut, kind of across the Long Island Sound from New York. But we are the Stags, which we love to say. But what's nice about us is that we have a location that lends itself well to students who want a number of different experiences. So we are very much a suburban campus in a beach town with access to the city and a lot of the East Coast. We're only about an hour from New York. So whether it's internship opportunities, if it is going to the city to see a baseball game, a musical, or just going to anywhere else along the Metro North train line, lots of opportunities to kind of get involved both on and off campus. For those of you who don't know, kind of located right in there, you can kind of see, as I mentioned, across from Long Island Sound. We're about 2.5 hours from Boston, about an hour from New York by train, a few hours from Philly, and 5 to 6 hours from DC. During my time at Fairfield, I went to all of these cities for a number of different reasons, both with an a cappella group that I was in, to kind of doing service learning opportunities. I mentioned that we're a Jesuit institution. Jesuits are a pretty cool group of priests in the Catholic tradition, but really focused on being people for and with others, caring for your whole person, kind of growing, but also striving for excellence. So yeah, of course, some of you may be Catholic, and that's awesome, and you could explore that faith at Fairfield. But that is not the only faith base or community that we support on campus, whether you are religious or not. It can be a really great place for you to explore all of your interests. And again, those values more than anything else being, basically a good community member of the world. But yeah, of course, there are service opportunities. There are opportunities to explore your faith through residential colleges and campus ministry, things like that. But a lot of our courses have a service learning component. So whether it's being in our local communities, being a student teacher, or even my dad is a professor, teaches a native lit class. And so they go to the Cheyenne River Sioux Tribe Reservation in the summer before the class in the fall, kind of get an immersion experience before they dive headlong into the course. But again, yes, we're a Catholic institution. That's really important and a big part of our tradition. But those values, I think, are the most important thing to take away from our education. When it comes to the numbers, we are, I would say, a medium-sized institution. We're about 4,000 undergraduate students with about 1,100 grad students. So the focus really is on our undergrads. We have students from all over the country, let alone the world. And we have students that are involved in all kinds of things, from clubs, organizations, affinity groups. We have D1 sports, club sports, intramurals, all that jazz, but lots of opportunities to get involved again on and off campus. Most likely, the course sizes will be similar to what you're having in school right now. Professors will know your name. You're not just going to be a number, which I appreciate and appreciated when I was a student. But again, just some quick notes there on what we have to offer from a number standpoint. When it comes to different opportunities academically, I would say the majority of these have a minor attached to them. Nursing is one that definitely does not. But we have the College of Arts and Sciences, a school of business, a school of nursing and health studies, and a school of engineering. You'll notice that there's a lot of weight there in the college, and that's because everyone takes a core curriculum that is a combination of, yes, things like English and math, but to even things like social justice, visual and performing arts, things like that, regardless of what major you choose or what school you're in. I took a class on the chemistry and the philosophy of food, co-taught by two professors that counted towards my core curriculum, which I really appreciated as well. That jumped ahead. Just so you know, in the School of Nursing and Health Studies, nursing is our only direct entry program. If it's something you're interested in, it's pretty selective, but if you want to do that, you cannot switch into that after applying. That is something you have to apply as, whereas the rest of them, you can kind of bounce around. But I had friends who double majored across the school and the college, some triple majors, a number of different minors involved there as well. We don't have a massive footprint when it comes to land in Fairfield, but I like to say we grow upward instead of outwards. So yes, tons of new building on campus, whether it be our new School of Business, which is well ranked and all that jazz, to new dining halls, rec plexes, athletic facilities, and upper year housing that is nicer than where I'll live for the next 10 years of my life. But we very much are looking to accommodate and have, a modern Jesuit institution experience at Fairfield. When it comes to financial aid and scholarships, we do have merit offered as well as need-based aid. There's no separate application for the merit. And I will say that, like many institutions, we have a decent sticker price there, but that is not, what the majority of student pays. Sometimes the sticker prices can be somewhat deceiving. Students often find that some schools with a large sticker price can be quite affordable. But again, we accept the FAFSA for US citizens, but also the CSS profile is our big one there. Last but not least, a few little quick tidbits, but I'm going to focus on that bottom left one. Over the past 4 years, with over 2/3 of students responding, good stats for you if you like statistics, but about 98% of our students who are graduated are either getting a job, continuing education, or doing some kind of long-term service with Peace Corps, things like that, post-grad, within 6 months of graduation. And you want something out of your education, I get it, I feel it. And that's something you can definitely find at Fairfield. But cool place, good fit for everybody. We've got some awesome institutions here, so I'm excited that you're learning about all of them, and happy to answer questions later.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining us tonight. My name is Philip Morbido. I'm an Assistant Director of Admission here at Franklin and Marshall College in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Just to give you some geographic orientation, we are in kind of the middle point between central and eastern Pennsylvania. We're about an hour west of Philadelphia, an hour and a half north of Baltimore, 2 hours from Washington, D.C. So just to give you some reference, I'm also going to share some slides so that you can all see what Franklin and Marshall looks like. Okay, so to give you a sense of who we are as an institution overall, we're 2,400 students total. I think in the grand scheme of schools that you're looking at across your college search, you're probably going to see we're on the smaller end of things. 2,400, I think, is a really great size in order to build really meaningful relationships with your faculty and your peers, and to also really feel like you're engaging deeply with folks who are different than yourself, and to really feel like you have an active voice on campus. Our students come from 47 different states, almost 50 different countries from around the world, and they are coming from all sorts of different backgrounds beyond that, such as racial and ethnic backgrounds. About 25% of our students identify as domestic students of color. About 20% are the first in their families to go to college. About 20% who are eligible for the federal Pell Grant. So in terms of diversity that you'll find on campus, I think it's represented in a lot of different ways. So we really make an intentional effort to create a campus that is a crossroads of the world. We want you to engage with folks that are different than yourself. We also want you to be in a small enough environment where you can really share your ideas and perspectives and hear from others in meaningful ways. In terms of the community that you'll find here, I think it really starts with our college houses. That is going to be a common thread through every F&M student's experience, is their college house affiliation. You will live there in your first year. It's a really great space in your first year, just because that is a very intentional living and learning community for you to walk into when you first get here to F&M. You are placed into your college house through a connections course that you will take. That connections course is a first year seminar style course that's going to help you prepare for life in your 4 years at F&M, really prepare you with skill sets to be successful. Once you're placed into that course, you receive your college house assignment. You'll live with the students who are taking that course with you, and you're also going to have the opportunity to take that course in the college house itself. The professor actually comes to you and teaches it there. So it's a really unique opportunity to continue the conversation that you're having in the classroom back into the residential space. Over 100 student-run clubs and organizations is what you'll find here at F&M. So many different ways to be involved and engaged on campus, from club and intramural sports to Greek life, community service groups, multicultural groups, political groups, whatever you really see as your passion. It's really great that F&M students are involved in 3, 4, 5 or more things, really engaging in all their passions beyond the classroom, not feeling like their academics is holding them back from trying everything that they want to be a part of. We have 27 athletic programs here at F&M, predominantly at the Division III level. So when you're looking for the well-rounded student athlete experience where you can feel like you're engaging academically, really challenging yourself athletically, but also involved in other things outside of just academics and going to a practice or to a game, you can find a really good balance here in terms of our athletic programs. Would recommend going to godiplomats.com. We are the Diplomats as our mascot. So you can go to godiplomats.com to find out more information about athletics at F&M. In terms of the academic components of the college, you're going to see you have until the end of your sophomore year to declare your major. So you have that time to really explore. If you know what you want, you can start taking classes in those areas right when you get here to F&M and start saying, hey, is this a good fit for me? Making that informed, educated decision of, is this really what I see myself doing for the next 4 years? Regardless of what you major in, you're going to see average class size is 17. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and most of our courses are going to engage in discussion-based learning. So you're going to be predominantly in a seminar room that's going to be like a conference room, and engaging in conversation with your faculty and your peers. It definitely will lead to, I think, really great things when you're building those relationships with professors. Research is a really popular option for students. About 2/3 of our students will do some sort of research or a one-on-one faculty guided experience at some point before they graduate from F&M. So when you're really getting to know your professors on a personal level, they're inviting you into that process. They're recommending you to different research experiences outside of F&M. So I think that translates into really great opportunities, and research is a good example of that. We have a very interdisciplinary curriculum. We are a liberal arts college. We want you to explore all sorts of different areas across the college to build a really great toolkit of skill sets so that when you graduate, you can do anything that you put your mind to. So a lot of our students will put major minor combinations together. They'll do double majors. Our joint studies program is a really popular flexible alternative to a double major that gives you a little bit more freedom to feel like you have some other courses you can take outside of just 2 departments. You'll also see some standalone interdisciplinary programs such as public health, for example, which is a combination of biology, sociology, and government. Other opportunities to engage at F&M include study abroad. You'll see about just over half of our students will study off campus at some point before they graduate from the college. Over 200 different partner programs across 60 different countries. So there's a lot to look at, and you can really decide what you want out of this. So if this is something that you're looking for specific coursework or research or internship experiences, you can find those. Also for duration, you'll see it's most common in the junior year for a semester or year-long experience, but we have short-term programs available, also students who will do it outside of their junior year. Summer break, winter break, spring break, that kind of thing. So there's lots of flexibility there. We want you to pursue this if this is something you're interested in. We're located in Lancaster, which is a small city, about 60,000 people. There's about 500,000 people in the county of Lancaster. So we're in the city itself. So you can walk off campus in any direction and be in the city and engage with any of the great things that are here. It definitely is a small, kind of vibrant, ever-changing city. So it's a really popular place to head into downtown if you're an F&M student. The Office of Student and Postgraduate Development is another great resource for you. It's going to be a space that it will be the hub to help you prepare to launch after F&M. So you'll have a student development advisor who's assigned through your college house, somebody you can get to know personally starting in your first year and help you prepare for those next steps after graduation, really feel connected to somebody who can help you with that. In terms of the application process, we'll accept the common application or the coalition application, either one of those. We are test optional. We've been test optional for over a decade now. We will plan to continue to be test optional going forward. We do recommend interviews if you're able to do so, but you are not required to do so. Just want to have that opportunity to connect with you personally and get to know you beyond just the application itself. There are 4 total rounds to apply in at F&M. We have 2 rounds of early decision, which is November 15th, January 15th. We also have an early music notification round, which is December 1st. And finally, regular decision is January 15th. So I'm going to wrap up there, and we're happy to take your questions at this point.
Thank you all so much. So that concludes our presentation portion of our session today. But now we're going to transition over to the Q&A. To our attendees, feel free to continue adding any questions you may have in that Q&A section, and I am going to pose a question to the group in the meantime. Our question is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? Feel free to respond in the order in which you presented.
Okay, I guess that means I'll start. I think probably one piece of the application that sort of takes the most time is your personal essay that will go out to all the colleges that you're applying to. And I think one place that you might get stuck, as I know this was the case when I was writing that essay, is you get too fixated on sort of like the topic itself, and you're not thinking as much about sort of the content you are relaying and expressing to the admissions committee. So in writing those essays, I think it's always smart to think about how you're relaying, how you work with others, how you solve problems, and sort of what your perspective is on the world, sort of what lens you're seeing the world through, as that is sort of the questions that I'm asking myself when I am reading those personal statement essays. And I care less about whether this is a fantastic experience abroad or something in your hometown, in your backyard, whatever that might be. So think more about the actual characteristics that you're displaying rather than that glitzy topic.
I think one piece of advice would probably be to try to focus, and I know this may be overused, but really trying to focus in on fit. And so for students that are looking for the right college for them, trying to focus in on really what it is that you need to have, and maybe then what you want to have in your college experience, and cast that net far. I know as someone who grew up in Maine, my college search process didn't take me much further than probably about 90 miles. And there are some really incredible institutions, and certainly you all out in California. And so I think that is something now, after spending years in college admissions, that I really wish I would have looked maybe a little bit harder at other institutions that might have been a good fit for me all over the country, because there's really some incredible institutions. But also try not to get caught up in all of the rankings and the articles and whatever it might be, and really try to own this journey for yourself as you really look to find that fit.
I will have to say my piece of advice is really looking at the institutions and the type of student support that's going to be available there for you. I mean, most students truly, they don't know that they really need the student support. They believe that they're really not going to need the student support until, you know, a situation occurs where they are looking around for somebody to help them. So find an institution that has some really solid student support. In addition to finding that institution that has a mission and values that are in alignment with yours. Thank you.
My advice would be, don't be afraid to reach out. You can reach out to anyone who works at any of these institutions, any of these colleges. We all are like real people on the other side, not just like aliens that are reading applications. There's also, on a lot of our websites, we have students who are ambassadors or admissions fellows or some sort of representative of the college. And their voice is obviously really important and be a great way for you to find out more. And so don't be afraid to reach out.
I'm going to piggyback off Glenn's answer there, but yeah, so we are all real people. But one important thing to note is that, you know, you think you may know the admission process after talking to one counselor, but we all have different parts of our processes. One test optional institution could have a different policy, could be different from another institution. You may submit to one, not to another. Some institutions measure demonstrated interest, like attending events and doing interviews, optional essays. So note that don't take everything at face value. Ask us the questions because we want to make it easier, not harder for you to apply and find success and find your fit. So let us know what we can do to help explain our specific processes to support you in your process.
Finally, I think my piece of advice is just to live in the moment. I think this process can feel very overwhelming. It can feel something that is hard to control. Recognize the points and the pieces that you can control, and then accept the pieces that maybe are harder to control and you can just only understand. So think about those pieces and don't let this process get away from you. I think it can feel very overwhelming, but if you organize yourself, if you take it, you know, one step at a time, you won't feel like this is an overwhelming thing that's going to consume your entire senior year. So live in the moment, embrace all the opportunities that you're going to have going into your senior year and enjoy those in addition to this process.
Great advice from the group. Thank you all for sharing. With that said, this concludes our virtual college fair for today, but I do have a few closing announcements. So as you exit from this Zoom session, a survey will appear. It's approximately 4 questions, but please complete the survey. It's extremely useful for us as we aim to improve our virtual college fair offerings in the future. I also want to remind you to sign up for additional sessions by visiting our registration site. And finally, a recording will be available within about a week or so. Also, feel free, I see that there are a couple questions in the Q&A, to reach out to our admissions representatives directly at their institution. I'm sure they would love to respond to any questions that you may have. With that said, I want to thank our panelists for joining us, but also all of our attendees. I hope everyone has a great evening.